Welcome to the Friends of Delray, a diverse group of Delray Beach residents coming together to build a positive city environment which is open and transparent. Our goal is to inform, share, and unite. Learn about what's happening in our village by the sea, from our pristine beaches to the corridors of City Hall. Hi, I'm Judy Malika, moderator for the Friends of Delray podcast, and a concerned Delray citizen willing to ask the tough questions of our informed guests and dig deep into the issues relevant to the future of our wonderful city. Today we're going to discuss Old School Square Center for the Arts. On August 10th, 2021, the Delray Beach City Commission voted to terminate the city's lease of Old School Square property with OSS Center for the Arts. This was a non-agenda item and had no public input before it was brought up last year at the August Commission meeting. Commissioner Julie Casal, Mayor Shelley Petrolia, and Commissioner Shirley Johnson voted to terminate the lease without cause. Even after a petition with over 11,000 signatures was presented, they did not bring it back up for a vote the following meeting. We're here to discuss what is Old School Square Center for the Arts, how it got started. And I'm hoping to bring clarity about some of the rumors that are being repeated from the dais, as well as in correspondence to citizens from the city commissioners. I welcome Patty Jones. Patty was on the Old School Square board from 2010 and 6 to 16, and again in 2017. She was elected the chairman of Old School Square Center for the Arts 2 months after the termination of the lease. Patty's on Grants Committee for Impact 100, on the LunaFest Committee, and she's part of Leadership Delray. Truthfully, whenever there's a community fundraiser or event, I always see Patty working or being a part of it. So thanks for all you do for our community, Patty.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I have some tough questions here for you. I'm going to go right into it, and that is some of the rumors that have come from the dais and from some of the commissions. Members of the city commission and mayor have sent emails and spoke to Delray citizens. One citizen tells me that he was told that Old School Square Center for the Arts was cooking the books and even providing bridge loans.
That's not true. We are not cooking our books, and we have never given a bridge loan. We have received a bridge loan.
Okay.
We received one for the Jimmy Buffett concert. We needed to pay, Jimmy Buffett.
So that was right during the COVID time.
Mm-hmm.
So there was an expense up front, and you had somebody a private citizen?
A citizen of Delray Beach came forward and provided a bridge loan to us, and immediately after the concert, we paid it off and paid it back.
Well, it shows that citizen had a lot of faith in you, and
yes,
I understand a lot of people attended that show.
It was great.
Okay. Also from the dais and in emails to citizens, Commissioner Casal has said that this is, I think, a quote, different accountants at different times have all concluded that Old School Square's books were deficient and irreconcilable, that the OSS's auditor, Hollyfield and Thomas, disengaged from OSS, that auditors Daskell and Bolton, also hired by OSS, withdrew engagement because OSS couldn't or wouldn't reconcile their books. And Devine, Blaylock, Martin, and Solari deemed Old School Square's books, accounts irreconcilable. Tough word. Can you speak about that, Patty?
I'm glad you asked the question. We were told that Daskell Bolton, our auditor in 2019, had a severe staffing issue as a result of the pandemic.
Okay.
And they were not able to complete our audit.
Okay.
We then hired Devine, Blaylock, Martin, and Solari. That's a word.
That's a tough one.
They took over in 2019. They took the 2019 audit, and it was completed within 3 months.
Okay.
Then they completed our 2020 and 2021, and they are currently our auditor today.
Okay.
So they're still
obviously
with us.
They didn't have a problem reconciling your accounts.
They did not have, and to get that
one
one done in 3 months is amazing.
Is that pretty good?
Yes.
Why is it difficult? Because of the 5 different entities of Old School Square? It's a big operation, right?
We're a big nonprofit, and we have 5 different entities that have to be reconciled. And as you were asking, COVID did set us back
Uh-huh.
on delivering 2019. But what's important is that every one of our audits is clean.
Okay, very good. What is the budget roughly to run that operation?
It was over $3 million.
$3 million
a little over
annually.
$3.
Okay, I'm going to come back to that in a minute, but I had a couple other questions, and this one's what I heard over and over again from a particular commission. Can you speak to us about the alleged double dipping with the Paycheck Protection Program, the PPP money?
Yes. If you don't know, PPP forgiveness is simply based on having the required payroll for a specific period.
Okay.
The government does not consider other sources of funds as a reduction.
Okay.
And additionally, the CRA also does not restrict other sources of funds as a reduction.
Okay.
The double dipping concept, we believe, was conceived as a method to target our organization.
Did you receive more than you paid out? Is that what they're suggesting?
No, our expenses exceeded the money given to us.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. What was being done at the Crest Theater at the time that the lease was terminated?
We were under a major renovation of the building,
Okay.
and it was funded by a private donor.
Oh,
And
nice.
it was, and I believe it was like $1.3 million total cost to be done
Okay.
when it was finished.
Okay. Oh, from the time that it was to the completion of it or
To the
something?
completion. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I know that the lease says that the city has to be given notice because it's their property if you're doing renovations. Did you have the proper notice and permits of?
Yes, the lease states that a permit authorizes and grants approval of any construction that we do,
So
any remodeling.
The permit serves as the notice per the requirement of the lease.
Yes, and we did receive that permit, and I personally know that one commission was coming in for a tour of this site.
Okay.
And because I had just finished that tour with the employee at that point.
Okay.
And they were coming in as I was leaving, and I talked to them.
Okay. So they saw it.
Yep.
So with regard to the Crest Theater, by the time your organization was forced to abandon the building, what was the state of the Crest Theater? Was it mid-construction?
It was midway construction.
So there's torn up this and that and the
Yes.
other thing?
Yes.
Okay.
It was midway. They stopped us,
I should have
The
let you
do-
finish.
The donor pulled her funds.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
yeah.
Because of the termination of the lease.
Termination of the lease,
Okay.
and it wasn't what her contribution was intended for.
Okay. Okay. With regard to the termination of the lease, I watched the meetings. Right, I watched the July meeting where they all said, "Okay, great, you're gonna redo it. Let's go." And then less than 30 days later, I watched the August 10th meeting where they said that they're terminating Julie Casal, Mayor Petrolia, and Shirley Johnson. And then they terminated without cause. So I was confused about without cause. I understand that. But then they keep talking from the dais and in emails that there was cause. But what's the difference between terminating without cause and terminating with cause?
Well, if they would have terminated it with cause, it would have given us the opportunity to cure and to fix whatever issues that they have, because we still don't know what issues they were. So, we would have cured, fixed whatever they want, and gone on from there, hopefully continue the lease.
But you weren't given that opportunity to cure whatever
Nope.
was
And
the issue?
it's just something the city didn't want.
Okay.
They wanted to do it without cause,
Okay,
and there's nothing we could have really done with
I
that.
understand. What I know that they're talking about in their emails that they gave this organization a lot of money, but my understanding is that the not-for-profits get a certain percentage of their budget through something called an A-Guide grant. Can you describe, what is an A-Guide? How does it help not-for-profits?
Well, it's something that the nonprofits can go ahead and apply for, and you can ask for 25% of your budget.
Up to 25%
Up to
of your
25.
budget?
And we asked for 22%.
Okay.
And during that, they want us to go ahead and it's for delivering programs that the CRA wants.
Okay.
It's for monitoring our prices so that they're low and affordable.
Like the free concerts.
And then giving free concerts.
Okay.
And then it was for giving discounts to other nonprofits and government entities for, rentals.
Got it.
And there were some other things, but that was the
So
gist
you
of
had
it.
to perform.
We had to
in order
perform,
to get the money.
and then we had to prove each quarter of what we did,
performed.
and we were paid in arrears.
So you do the service, then they pay you later. By the way, my Rotary group did in fact do a free event at one of the facilities at Old School Square. So I know you performed for that duty.
Yes.
So 22% of what you said earlier
Of a
of a
$3
million something dollar
something.
budget is a pretty good chunk. So I know that I've heard people say, well, they get the lion's share of the CRA money, but you must have the lion's share of a budget because like maybe, I don't know what the Arts Garage budget is or the library's budget is, but the $3 million is a pretty decent budget for all of the programming that you were
All the
performing.
events that we did on the property.
Right. So that came out to $750,000 roughly
Yep.
for the CRA grants, and then your organization raised the rest.
Yes.
Either through concert
Through
proceeds
events or
for
private donors,
donations.
mostly private donors
Wow.
and events, yes.
That's a pretty big chunk from private donors.
Mm-hmm.
At the time of the lease termination, what did your books look like? I mean, you don't need to show them to me. I wouldn't understand them anyway. But weren't you even considering not needing the CRA's money at that point? Because didn't you do well at some of the concerts in spite of COVID?
Coming out of COVID, we were doing great. We had the Jimmy Buffett concert for 4 nights,
That
and
helped.
That was an amazing help to our bottom line.
Income
And
producer.
no, we were
And you
we
had
were
the crest that paid for, so you were looking good.
we were looking very good.
That's a shame that happened. So I think I watched the July City Commission meeting. I told you, and they said that you can continue with the project, or that your organization could continue with the project, and then less than 30 days they voted to terminate. And then I kept hearing compliance, but I know that you said that you had audits that were clean.
Our audits were clean. When they say compliance, it was nothing to do with our financials. It was to do with the lease. And in that July meeting, I was there. They had
saw it.
admitted that they didn't know it was in the lease, and we didn't know everything wasn't being.
I saw that
submitted.
when I was trying to review for this podcast. I saw that I think it's Lynn Jellin, the city attorney, said I didn't know what was in the lease, but it was also mentioned that it used to be somebody in the city that was a liaison between the city commission and Old School Square not-for-profit, Brzezinski or something
we
like
had him
that.
on our board. We had a city liaison on our board that would come to our board meetings
Okay.
and report to us from the city, and they would report what we were doing back to the city.
So
it was a partnership, and they hadn't given one for several years. I don't know the exact specifics, but it had been several
Because
years.
of the changeover in
The
the
changeover in the
city
city.
managers, so they just didn't have time to appoint one or didn't think about it?
They didn't think about it, and we asked for one. And
Okay.
at that meeting, they appointed Missy.
I saw that. Missy Barletta, who I love, I think she's adorable. So she was your liaison for
She
a minute
went-
and a half.
Yeah, very short-lived, but,
You know,
yes.
at that July meeting, I saw her get up at the lectern and tell the city commissioners that the lease items, whatever they were in compliance, I did read the lease, that whatever items were in compliance, that you had done that paperwork, but she said, I think they didn't know who to submit them to or whatever. Was that a
we
struggle?
we produced a lot of the product that they wanted, or most of it, and Missy had it. And I mean, there's emails that what we've sent. And so we were producing everything that they wanted.
But maybe they didn't have a department head at the city that was to receive those papers, even though she was the one that got it.
Well, it went to her, it went to the city manager, and it went to the commission and the CRA.
So
I mean, it was going to everybody. So, and then, they were saying that they didn't receive it, so we would resend it, or sometimes they would say like the strategic plan wasn't in the format they wanted, and we said this is how how do you want it? We've done it this way for the last several years.
Strategic plan in an acceptable form. But what's an acceptable form?
We asked, and they wouldn't tell us.
Okay.
They weren't telling us.
Like the worst analogy in the world, but I have been reporting a dead cat on the side of the road for the last 4 days. And then all of my neighbors had also been reporting it. And then the property manager also reported it. And what I found that there's nobody in the city that deals with it. Like the police told me, call them. Then I called them. They said, oh yeah, I've emailed the person that's supposed to deal with that. Somebody's got to be in charge of dead animals and lease stuff, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry about that. That was a gross story.
And they were supposed to do a workshop to talk about the lease. And that didn't happen. That's in that meeting.
Oh, yeah, I must have missed that.
Yeah.
But they did do a workshop when Arts Garage, I think, was having difficulty or whatever. They absolutely did a workshop and helped them. But you didn't have that opportunity.
No.
So I've heard them say, well, OSS not-for-profit didn't come back to the commission after they terminated the lease.
That's untrue. We did.
Okay.
We requested meetings several times. We asked the city to come to the table and talk to find out what the issues were so we could correct them. And they didn't. I mean, there was a petition that had over 11,000 signatures in August, asking, hey, come talk to the table, reconsider, mediate, find a happy medium. We attended the August 17th meeting, which was after the lease termination. There were over 100 speakers there that night.
On your behalf?
On behalf of Old School Square.
Okay.
And at the beginning, Shelley stated that they weren't going to change their vote or reconsider the vote at that time, even with 100 people there.
And all of those signatures of citizens. And they didn't.
No, they didn't. And there were many other things we did. There was a lot more things we did.
So you tried.
We tried.
The city, I've heard said from the dais, is saying that Old School Square, not-for-profit, ripped out lighting and security systems and stage lighting and curtains and a lot of stuff that. What happened there?
Well, if you don't remember, we've been in those buildings for 32 years. There was nothing there. It was a school, an abandoned school. It was abandoned school. I mean, paint peeling off. There was nothing there. Everything we put in there was ours. So we took our belongings.
You didn't take the elevator. You didn't take anything attached or whatever. Just the expensive sound and lighting and security equipment.
Yeah, our belongings,
Well, the lease does state that you're
entitled to it.
Specifically states that.
And actually, we left a lot there for the community.
Okay.
We left in the theater, there's 300 seats that we paid for and we put in. We left them there because...
You didn't want the community not to have those.
We wanted the community to have them. But we were very diligent in thinking of what to take, and what would affect the community because we are part of that community.
The Cornell was I went to an event there for something rather, art or heart or something, but it was beautiful inside of there, right? It was beautiful.
Yes.
So
heart of the square.
Yes, but they were saying that it was left in bad condition.
Oh no, that museum was pristine.
It was pristine.
Right? No, it was remodeled and it's gorgeous and it's state of the art.
In the duration from the time you left to the time that they're speaking about that, was there any kind of problems? I know you had some funky ACs in there. I've heard that.
Oh, with any historic building, if you're not in there every day, things go wrong. And the AC, leaked during COVID for us when we weren't there for a week. And when it leaks, we had to replace part of the floor.
Oh, really?
Or we had to, fix it, repair it. It was a big repair.
Because it's historical building and older stuff, and you had to... So somebody's got to be in there every day to take a peek at it and keep it.
It's got it, to maintain it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry for all that your organization has gone through. Does Old School Square Center for the Arts exist any longer now that they don't have their walls or whatever?
Yes, we are still here in Delray Beach, and we are still bringing arts to the community. We're still serving our mission. We are we're doing Luna Fest, which is a film festival, women supporting women, all by short stories by women directors.
I have a ticket.
Yes. And we were at the Delray Chamber Education Breakfast,
Okay.
and we gave each public school in Delray Beach $500 in support of the arts.
Oh, tremendous.
So we are here, and we're still doing our missions. We're supporting our mission even without the bricks and mortar. We're still here. We're still doing art events,
There's a
supporting
song, I
the
think,
community.
I get knocked down, I get up again. It's like, good for you guys for getting up again. And sorry about the knockdown. I know it was personal for all of you all involved.
Heartbreaking. I mean,
Yeah.
we all love Delray Beach, and
Of course.
I as a community volunteer, I love Old School Square and the local nonprofits, and it's sad to see the poor decision that was made, and then how it's affected the community. I mean, we've lost all those events that we put on, and the businesses.
My fear is it's going to affect donors in their trust factor, because if you can give your donations to a place in a city building and then not trust that place can remain, there may be a trust factor for donors. I'm lucky that I'm poor and I can't donate very much. Just kidding.
The donors, they have no trust.
Wow.
And the poor and the volunteers, not just me. I mean, the volunteers that worked there and tirelessly. I mean, you give your heart and soul, to the to the square, the Old School Square, and it just hurts. It's like they slapped us in the face,
Right.
and it's hard. But you know what? Hopefully, right will preserve.
Right.
And
Right.
it's,
right will prevail. That's right.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Patty, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate your time.
Well, thanks for having me.
I will hope to have you back again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm Judy Malika for Friends of Delray. Please let your voices be heard, get engaged, talk with neighbors, and attend city meetings. And watch for our next podcast or video. We believe Delray is at its best when we're stronger together. Thank you for joining Friends of Delray, addressing the relevant issues facing our community. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube, and please sign up for our newsletter at our website, friendsofdelray.us. We believe Delray is at its best when we work together.